This is Chris Morrow at Comic-Con at Home, and I'm remotely located at the Tin Fish at the Gaslamp Trolley in San Diego. The panel is The Science of Back to the Future from the San Diego Fleet Science Center. Hello.
Hi, how are you, Chris?
I'm doing great. If you guys could introduce yourself and say where your home is.
Sure. My name is Andrea Decker. I am the Adult Programs Manager at the Fleet Science Center, which is in San Diego. So my home is actually in San Diego.
And then I'm Dr. Lisa Will. I'm a professor of physics and astronomy at San Diego Community College, and I'm the resident astronomer at the Fleet Science Center. Hi.
And I'm John Barber. I'm the editor-in-chief at IDW Publishing, and we're located here in Point Loma. So I'm also here in San Diego.
All right, well, welcome, neighbors. Tell me about the panel. How did it go?
I thought it was fantastic. I always love doing the panels with the Science Center, and my wife's a scientist, so I've kind of always lived with this mixture of comics and science, and I think it's always so much fun to be able to talk about this stuff and to interact with with scientists and talk about all the stuff we're getting wrong, but also all the way we're able to hopefully inspire people, and
Yeah, I always love working at the intersection between art and science, and bringing science to places like San Diego Comic-Con is a passion of mine, because the people there are inherently curious and interested about everything. So it's a great way to reach out to people.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as John and Lisa. I love those panels. I think they're a great way to connect groups that don't necessarily see the connection, right? We've got the pop culture fans, the nerds, if I may say so, and then we have our scientists who are also nerds, but they don't always see the connection for themselves with the art and the science. And it's just so much fun to bring them together and show people that science is everywhere, and it's just super fun if you allow yourself to engage with it, other than thinking, oh my God, I gotta have a physics test in school. Then science can be super, super fun. Yeah, and so I loved it. And the panelists were fantastic. The topic is great. We got to announce the new crossover between Back to the Future and Transformer in the panel. So that was super exciting. I thought it was great.
Science.
Hi, Sarah. If you could introduce yourself and tell us where your home is.
Oh, I am, my name is Sarah. I am an outreach director at HDSI at UCSD, and I am about a mile away from UCSD. So,
welcome.
Area, University City. Thanks.
Well, let's get back to the panel. What did we learn?
Well, I'm going to throw it a little bit to the scientists for this one first, and then we're going to talk to John a little bit about the crossover of Back to the Future and Transformers. But Lisa had some great points about time travel. When we talk about Back to the Future, time travel is a big component, obviously. And Sarah had some really great points on robotics when we look at the Transformers. So Lisa, if you want to take it away first, and then we'll throw it to Sarah.
I am really glad that we have fiction to explore time travel in, because we haven't quite figured out how to do it in real life yet. I always like to say that we are compelled to travel through time, because we're always going into the future. It's just that all of us here talking together are going into the future at the same rate as each other. So we can't really jump around right now and go investigate the future or the past the way we might each individually like. Will time travel be possible? There are some interesting ideas. It's not prohibited by general relativity, but we haven't been able to figure out how to do it yet. So yay, Back to the Future and cars that let us do that. And remember, that has to travel not just through time, but also through space. Because if I jump forward 3 months, the Earth actually isn't in the same location around the sun. So they do very complicated physics in Back to the Future.
Stephen Hawking's book,
The Brief History of Time?
Yes, there you go. He references Back to the Future. It's amazing. I'm like, wow, that's actually pretty cool.
I actually think most people's understanding of time travel doesn't come from any class that they've ever taken, but it comes from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
For good or for bad.
I mean, even in the Avengers movie, they go out of their way to say they're not going to do Back to the Future time travel. They do Back to the Future 2 time travel.
We do not talk about that movie.
Sorry.
Yeah, and Sarah had some great points about robotics. She built a robot dress for herself that she can tell you all about, and she kind of helped us a little bit understand of where robotics are now and why we might not see transformers unless they come from space anytime soon.
Yeah, mainly because of the power that's required to make them move as quickly as they do in the movies. And because as it stands now, gigantic robots like that are very slow and very anticlimactic as they just slowly try to punch each other. People will have a lot of time to move out of the way. But that's not to say that in theory it couldn't happen. It just hasn't quite gotten there yet.
I learned that I genuinely don't know which the cooler version of the dress was, the one with the dress or the one without the dress, where it was just the mechanics, because they were both awesome. It was really that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
It's my dream come true. I'm telling you. I mean, that like I said, I was a lonely kid, and that thing was like, that helped me with my self-esteem in a lot of ways. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah.
Chris, for any of our viewers who are wondering what we're talking about, they have to watch the panel because Sarah shows us what she's talking about with the robot dress. So people will just have to watch the panel.
You know what? It's so funny. Somehow recently, like just a few days ago, somebody posted just the tentacles, and it went viral again. There's like 700,000 views, and I was like, "Huh, okay, here we go. It's come out again. That's fun."
What about hoverboards there? You know, what do we look at for having, you know, real science for having a real hoverboard?
They have hoverboards. They
Hoverboards.
there was a hoverboard that Tony Hawk was riding.
Yeah, a magnetic.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only way that I can think of that could actually make hoverboards happen is the whole, you know, working with electromagnetic waves and manipulating them.
Well, you can do air, right?
Then you need the magnetic track to be over too, so you wouldn't have as much freedom.
Right. Air.
Well, I guess we could get rid of the trains.
Well, yeah, I mean, but maglev trains are actually a thing, right? So like you can actually do that, but once again, you're just restricted into where you can wander around. So not quite. And then any other form of hoverboard that has to use something like thruster jets or something like that, that would just take an incredible amount of fuel with current motors to be able to suspend you that way.
Yeah, and flying boards or flying trains, you still wind up back at Back to the Future. It's got all of those.
It does.
True.
Sounds like a great panel. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Chris Morrow, Comic-Con at Home, and we miss you, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much for having us, Chris. This was fun.
Bye.
Bye from the Fleet Science Center.
Bye-bye.
San Diego!